Welcome to Paperback Perspectives, a podcast about books, where your hosts, Ryan, Kaylin, and Annette give you their perspectives on all things reading. Cozy up in your favorite book nook and let's dive in. Hello!
No, it's all right.
Oh, no, you're good. No, you're good.
Sorry. Don't rush this. Okay.
Welcome back to Paperback Perspectives, chapter 12.5, where we are having trouble getting started, but we're here now.
We're a disaster, but we're going.
Hannah is still with us.
Woohoo! They just can't get me to leave.
Yeah,
we
right?
miraculously all put the same clothes on and are back again for 12.5.
That
It's
they
not
all could hear
2
on
minutes
Spotify.
later than when we finished the other one.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you haven't watched the last one, we, talked about our life updates, talked about books we were reading. And now we're going to dive into talking with Hannah about reading and books and her experience with books and stuff. So we're going to dive right in. First, just wanted to kind of go over your reading journey, if you've always been a reader or if you picked it up later, or what your reading journey has looked like.
I am pretty sure that I've read forever. I know in elementary I was reading a lot of books about animals because that was my life.
Were you an Animorphs kid? Did you like those books?
I'm pretty sure I did read some.
They freaked me out. Just the covers of them.
The covers were very strange. Yes. I like the books that were Snippy's First Christmas or whatever, and it's just got a little cute little puppy on the cover.
Biscuit?
Yeah.
Did you read Biscuit?
I'm gonna come back to Biscuit
Okay.
when
We'll get
we
to
talk
Biscuit.
about the kids' books.
We'll get back to Biscuit.
Yes.
Don't worry, Biscuit. I'm coming for you.
And there's one book that I vividly remember called Puppy Sister, and it is exactly what it sounds like. It's from the perspective of the puppy, who is named Alicia, which I feel like is a weird name for a dog.
That's an interesting name for a dog.
And she wants so badly to be a real sister to her owner, who is a little boy. And so as the book goes on, she transitions into a girl. So she loses her tail, and then she loses her ears.
What?
It's weird, but that's one that just stuck with me.
I mean, now
Puppy
the name
sister.
Alicia makes sense.
Yes,
she's a girl.
She became a true Alicia. Yes, yeah.
How old were you when you read this book?
Oh, probably 7, maybe.
That's very
wild.
interesting.
It was like one of the shorter chapter books.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's just always been one
Adding
that
that
I
to my
remember
TBR.
very well. And the American Girl doll, American Girl doll books. I read those a lot. Never had an actual doll, but read those a lot. And the Magic Treehouse books.
Oh, yeah.
Which
You're
I
preaching
just
to the choir
I
here.
just started reading those too. Orson and Ellie were just started Night of the Ninjas, and they are loving them, and I'm so excited about it.
Yay.
Kaylin,
That's awesome.
Kaylin, what was the one that scared you? We'll warn you so you don't do that one.
Okay.
No, well, okay, I don't think we had the additional copy that had facts on them, but it was the one about mummies.
We just
Freaked
finished the
me
mummy
out.
one, and they don't understand the concept of mummies, and I'm not going to go into
I was
it.
just
yet.
they're
Explain it.
dead,
Yeah.
and you're doing what with them, and
Yep.
what? I was just very scared. I was
Yeah.
ugh.
Did you share a story about one that scared you too? Somebody else did, I thought. Maybe not.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
We'll move on.
I'm brave.
What did you say?
I'm brave.
Orson and Ellie both like scary movies, so they, I guess, are not freaked out by scary.
Showing him The
Yeah.
Exorcist.
Yes, that's their favorite.
Play the Exorcist.
No, they don't mind the villains in the Disney movies
Okay,
or
sure.
the dinosaurs. They Orson loves the ones, the dinosaurs that are more scary, the ones that come after the
Yeah.
little ones.
Yeah.
That's his persona right now. He is the aggressive T-Rex all the time. So we don't shy away from that. I liked to also, I wanted to be an author. I've always wanted to be an author. And so
I
I
love
was
that.
writing stories a lot in elementary
Oh, that's so fun
as well.
Do you have copies of your books or stories?
Like notebooks filled with ideas, or
I'm
have
sure Terry
a
does.
folder. Probably. I have a folder on my computer of things that I wrote in college. No, it's fine. and like short stories, because I was in was it a short story fiction class? I don't even remember.
Creative writing class.
Yeah. So they were like 15 pages long. I've never finished writing an actual novel, but I will say when I was in Mrs. Larson, maybe Mrs. Drake's class, I forget which grade it was, we were supposed to write a 2-page story based on a picture, and I wrote 15 pages.
In like 3rd grade, 4th grade. That's
because
awesome.
I just couldn't
leave out those
couldn't
details.
stop. Yes. And so, yeah, I was always an overachiever.
You have an
from
author
a young
soul.
age, yes.
Yeah. I'd be really interested in those short stories you've read.
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
sound really
wrote.
interesting.
yeah.
Yes, not read. Wrote.
I
Thank you.
could revisit them and share the ones that I'm not embarrassed by.
That'd be great.
Maybe.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Fair enough. Yeah.
What is it about like authoring a book? Writing a book.
I don't know. Authoring, it sounds good. Yeah.
I think
like
both work.
authoring
Okay.
is a
Okay.
verb.
Sure. What is it about it that like is your like makes you intrigued? Is it like creating a world? Is it like, making
Yeah.
a story based on something true?
Character.
Characters? Yeah.
I think a little bit of both. Most of the books that I am drawn to since like middle high school are books that are ones that could be true or are probably based on something true. I've never really been into the dystopian fantasy stuff, which
Yep.
I know is kind of a favorite amongst this group. But yeah, like the coming of age books that are relatable, like that totally
Yeah.
could have happened to so-and-so down the street or something. Like,
Yeah.
that's, I guess, what I'm drawn to. And I would love to write the next Perks of Being a Wallflower or whatever, but
Yeah.
I haven't written since college, I don't think. So it's been a while. My pen is rusty.
There's
so-
always time.
Quailer's
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Fun. So getting into now like what you like to write about, you're kind of already like got into this, but what are like your types of books that are like your jam, which you already talked about a
Yeah.
little bit, but is there more, or is that like your one thing?
That's the main thing that I would be drawn to, I think. Mostly young adult fiction, like the high school kids, some college stories, I think, but mostly high school, I feel like I'm drawn to. And manga.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
I have not read manga in a long time, but
What started you on that?
I have no idea. I don't know where I found the first one, but I read 3 series in high school, and they all were very long series. I think each of them had at least 17
Oh, wow.
books in them, and 2 of them were about high school students, high school romance, going through school, and one of them was about a rock band. So that was a little bit different, but they were just,
They caught
I
your
don't know.
attention.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
It's very visual. Like I've read
Yeah.
a few, and I think it's such a visual way for people. Like we've talked before about, do you think in words? Do you think in pictures? It gives you a different way of thinking in
Yeah.
pictures, I think.
Yeah.
And you really, I don't know, it's almost like you're watching the movie while reading the book.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I've tried other series of manga, and those 3 kind of set the bar high, so I haven't really enjoyed too much since. But I do enjoy some graphic novels as well. I took a graphic novels class in college, which was really cool.
Oh. Where like
You went to a fun college.
I went to UND.
Never mind. What classes did you take?
It was an
That's
honors.
awesome.
It was an honors class.
Okay.
So I also took a class that was the history of punk. So that was cool. Like
sounds
honors
awesome.
classes were really different and weird and fun back then. But
So the graphic novel one, was it writing graphic novels, or was it like reading?
So
Okay,
we
Like
read
studying
like Watchmen, Mouse, Persepolis, probably one of the superhero ones that I can't think of, but yeah, that was fun, and just being able to like discuss the themes and stuff in it. And yeah, and then in college I wanted to be an English teacher, and I wanted to be like the English teachers that are in all of the cool books that, the English teacher is always the one that's cool.
Yeah.
And hip and
The
relatable.
relatable
And
ones,
I'm going
yeah.
to give this book for you to read.
And it'll open the whole world for you.
I
And
wanted to be that.
yeah.
And so I did, take a young adult fiction class, and I was forced to read Twilight. And I did not finish it. That was the one book that I could not get through. But I watched the movie. No, I'm just kidding.
Good enough.
So yeah, I loved all of that. I was super pumped to be able to, pass that down and share that in class. But there was English classes that were just sucking my soul out, like the theory classes. I know you were just saying or was it you that liked the
educational
classes?
theory of it all?
I couldn't.
I'm a nerd, so that's like it's just that part of my brain.
Yeah.
A little bit.
The English part of it, though, like I don't know, that's probably a different world.
Yeah, that's true. I suppose it's different for every subject.
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
But
yeah, so I didn't end up completing that major for college.
Yeah. That's okay.
But no, I
sounds like you took a lot of fun classes.
I
though,
did.
That are like,
it's more
I
the
feel
experience than the piece of paper at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we can all relate to some starts and stops along the way on those kind of paths. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, you betcha.
And then now you read a lot of kids' books.
I do, yes. I have 2 huge totes of kids' books in our playroom that I try to cycle 15 or 20 out for a week, and then new ones, because otherwise they would just be pulling them all off the shelf and it would be chaos.
We just went and hung out with them the other day.
Yes.
And Nellie brought 2 books to Sam. They were probably the longest books she could have ever
She's
picked.
good at doing that.
One of them was literally the entire Cars movie. The whole movie.
She knows how to play the game.
Yeah. Sam read it all diligently. He started with some voices. The voices did not make it to the end.
You do a good Lightning McQueen impression?
He did a
Sam?
really good Mater.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
really?
impressed.
I'm
Yeah.
going to have to hear that later. We'll put it on TikTok.
Yes. Yeah, I love that they both, because Orson and Nellie are the only ones really reading right now. They both love books, and that's the first thing they want to do when they wake up, and that's been that way for a long time.
Awesome.
And usually I'm let me have a few sips of coffee first and then I can read. And we have to cut them off of okay, we've read so many books. My voice is getting hoarse. We need to stop. And then it'll be 20 minutes later. Can you read a book to me?
That's awesome.
And
That is awesome.
I love it. But it's just
at the same time, it's I need a break.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then Drake is usually crying and trying to crawl on the book and rip the pages. We have so many ripped pages.
That's the sign of a good loved kids book, though. Is the ripped pages, the cracked spine. It's kind of falling apart a little bit, the covers hanging on by a little
The
thread.
story doesn't make sense because 3 pages are missing.
Yeah,
and
you
just make that part
But
up.
you know them, so you can just read
we
them
got it by heart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Actually, Evan just took a picture of me, I think this morning or yesterday, of me and Nellie's leaning into me, and I have this giant book. Oh, I forget that I'm in a microphone. A giant book that's the Princess Castle one. I think maybe you might have read that one a while ago, the last time you were at our house. And
Yes,
that's a
Sam
favorite.
says.
And then Orson is trying to be on Nellie's lap, and then Drake is over here nursing.
Oh, gosh.
So I'm okay, trying to turn the pages, and everyone's just inching closer and closer, and oh my gosh, it's such an immersive experience for everyone.
Let's just back up 1 inch and then
Personal space.
55 more.
Yes. But again, I love that they are so into books. It's exactly what I was hoping for.
I feel like that's kind of an interesting thing with kids is I feel like kids really love reading. I think there's some kids who won't, but I just feel in general, young kids really do love reading. So I just kind of always wonder,
They're so curious about things.
yeah, I kind of wonder where it kind of transitions. Is it when it turns into okay, now I need to do more of the reading, or you know what I mean? I'm just always curious, what happens with that? Because I just do feel most kids are yes, I would love to be read to, or whatever.
and it's a connection for them too. This is special time. Connecting with mom or dad or whoever.
Right. So yeah, I just always wonder where that kind of disconnect is for people who grow up and don't love reading, and then are Like, what happened?
Yeah.
But not that anything had to happen, but I've always been kind of curious about that.
transition,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. It went a little bit deep there,
No,
guys.
yeah.
Sorry. No, I'm just kidding. But how about Biscuit?
Okay, so I have a bone to pick with Biscuit.
Ooh, good one.
Pun intended. Every other sentence is woof woof. Okay. Oh no, Biscuit, don't go over there. Woof woof. Silly puppy, you found a tree. Woof woof. Like I don't know what it is, but I cannot woof woof. Every other sentence.
I cannot do it.
Can you get away with reading every other line when you read those, or do they catch on?
I could try. I have not tried.
Just skip those right on over and see if
Yes.
anybody catches you.
Or like,
Yeah.
be like, okay, now it's your turn. You
Ooh,
guys
there we
say
go.
woof,
Cue
woof.
somebody else to do
Yeah.
it. There you go.
Drake could
Okay.
get in on that. He's good at
He does. If
Drake
he sees
likes to bark. Yeah.
Hoo, 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 hoo. That's all he does.
There you go.
And there are lots of dogs in our apartment, so
There we
hear
go.
that a lot.
So
There you go.
yeah, get him in on it.
Okay.
Get your, or like record him doing that and then just play every time. But that would
That
also
wouldn't
probably
get old.
That would get really old real quick. And now we were like, we solved the problem, and then you were gonna be like getting ready
Yeah.
for bed, and both your kids are gonna be like, woof woof, woof. And you're
Oh
like,
my
no, English, speak words.
They are the backwards,
your words.
the opposite of puppy sister. Now they are turning into
They're
puppy.
turning into
Puppy children. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's funny.
I also do not like that Nellie really enjoys My Little Pony graphic novels, which are way over her head. But she brings home like 4 of them from the library every time. My Little Pony graphic novels.
Is it just the idea of the pony on the
And,
cover?
like the picture,
Yeah.
and the colors.
And I'm sure the colors are very catching and
yeah.
like,
After reading one of them, I even was like, Nellie, did you even understand what happened in the story? Nope.
But I'm going to get
But
4
I-
more next time.
Okay.
But I
All
like
right.
the
Yep.
pony.
Yep.
but I like to look at it.
Yeah. And they're so long. So I usually tell her, we'll
And that's
read half of
when
this.
you can start making up the story, and then I guess I turned 10 pages this time instead of 1. Oops.
See, you guys got the suggestion.
And now we're done.
But be careful if you change the story.
Make it a happy ending.
If you've listened to a past episode, I think we've gone over this, but Ryan, one time, we used to share a bedroom and he read me Hungry Hungry Caterpillar and said, the caterpillar ate too much and exploded and died.
The end.
That was great.
Believed that until I was about 16.
See, I'm really good about editing stories on the fly.
All right.
So
I was like, oh no.
What a terrible book.
Horrible.
yeah, so just make sure it's a happy ending.
Yeah, just
or
make it a
else
happy ending.
might
Helen
scar
judged
them for their
Eric
lives.
Carl for 11 years before she found out that it was really Ryan.
My bad.
Terrible.
Oh, man.
Oops.
Oh, that's funny. And then we were talking before this about like how many of like your books you have that have turned into like movies or TV shows. And I just kind of wanted to go like, do you enjoy when your books turn into like a movie, TV show? Do you get like nervous about it? I get a little bit nervous sometimes. Like, you got to respect my characters.
Yes. I would say for the most part, I get excited because I like being able to relive the story in a different way. But there,
I like that perspective.
That's a really good way to look at it.
I mean, yeah, it can go the wrong way though. And I would say some of it can be disappointing because it doesn't look how you pictured it. Like, so it's kind of a funny story by Ned Vicini, was one of my favorites in high school, and they made it, and I feel like the cast was not what I would have imagined. And they described the one girl with cuts on her face. She was a self-harmer, and she would cut her face because she wanted it to be seen. And I forget who the actress is. Emma Roberts, maybe. You can barely even see anything on her face. Like, it's not noticeable.
That's
And the
like
whole point was that it was supposed to
main
be
part of her
noticeable. Yeah.
character. Yeah.
So that part was disappointing, but otherwise it was pretty good. It was cute. But Perks of Being a Wallflower, my favorite book ever. I've read it so many times. They made it into a movie, and the author, Stephen, I believe it's Chbosky is how you say it. He said that he would only allow it to become a movie if he had total control over it. And so it took a while for him to actually get it made, and he created it, and it is so accurate and reflective of the book. And
Oh, that's awesome.
That
I haven't
is.
seen or read
Okay.
this
Me neither.
story.
But I've always
So-
been intrigued by both.
Yeah.
yeah, I would definitely recommend reading first and then watching.
Okay.
But yeah, like one of the central themes of the book is the soundtrack that the main character creates. He creates a mixtape for his friends. And I thought it was interesting that they didn't actually use any of the songs in the movie. They used a totally different soundtrack. I think they mention a couple of the songs, but I don't know if they play it. But one of the songs that they mention in the story, they just talk about the song, but they don't name it. And it's this like really special moment where they're driving through this bridge. And so in the movie, he again didn't use the actual song that he's always had in his head for it. He used one that was like similar. It could be that, but he's never actually told anyone what the real song is. That it's I don't know, fun little secret there. But I felt the casting was fantastic. The story, I mean, it all stayed true to the events in the book. They didn't stray too much from important details.
Have you reread the book after watching the movie then?
I think maybe once.
Did
It's
it
been a
like
while.
so did it change like how you read the book? Like did you picture the movie then as you're reading the book compared to like when you first did it
Ooh.
without having watched the
Good
movie?
question.
Thank
That is
you.
a good question. I'm not sure. I would say probably it's a little more influenced by the cast. There is one scene that I misunderstood the first couple times that I read the book, and then when I saw it in the movie, I was like, oh. So now reading it, I'm like, oh, this okay. I literally don't know how I misunderstood it because it's going back now. It's like pretty clear what it was. But yeah, so I mean that
Sometimes it
actually
just happens though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I
Especially
just-
at different times in life. Like,
true. Yeah,
you know, you read it when you're at one part of life and you haven't experienced something, and
Yeah,
then later on,
that's a good
you're
point.
like, oh, I see that now.
yeah. No, that makes sense actually.
But like the thing you said about the author, like only doing it if he had full control, I think is so important.
So
'Cause so
important.
many of these, like, I don't know if you guys like know The Witcher, which is like there's like a video game series, and then there's like books that go along with the video game, and they made a TV show on Netflix about it. And the TV show is really good because the main actor Henry Cavill is a massive nerd, and he is like played the games, he's read the books, like he knows his stuff about the lore and the story. And then like the Netflix like executives were like, we think it should be this thing instead. And he's like, no, that's not the story. Like, or he's like, that's not what happens.
Oh
Like,
yeah, because he left, right?
yeah, we need to be true to
Oh.
the show. And they're like, no, we're not doing that. He's like, well, then I'm done.
Wow.
And he left the show, and then they brought in
Good for him.
Liam
Yeah.
Hemsworth. I think is like took over for him, and like fans were pissed.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Because he was like, I haven't seen or heard, like, read the books or anything, but like, I know he was like touted as like an amazing actor in this portrayal of this role, and
I
it was
mean,
like
like-
everyone was like, that is exactly how I picture it.
yeah, he's like, I need to look like him. I need to like talk like him, and like everything is like pretty accurate to the actual story of like
Yeah.
the video games and everything. And so to like see that the big studio like tank this wonderful thing that they have going just because of like one thing or another, it's really disappointing.
And like Bookstagram, sometimes they'll like put like, you know how in books they'll do weird things to describe things happening, like his eyes darkened, or like he growled from deep in his throat, or what, you know, like those weird things, or like he
What
snarled.
have you been reading, Kaylin?
Hot name? No, just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It's back.
But it'll be like in the fantasy books, like he
Yeah, I know.
snarled at him, and
Yes.
it's like, what do you?
1984
Like,
gets
what do you
wild.
mean snarled?
What version of 1984 was that?
Yeah. But like people on Bookstagram would always use like his acting to like be like his eyes darkened, and he would like do it, and it's like, yes, that's what it is.
That's
Like,
the thing.
those
Gotcha.
things that are like, how do you do that? He like
Yeah.
did it.
Or like
That's
the
cool.
like growl or whatever. Like his face doesn't change, but like he makes the
yeah, like
sound,
they
the
smiled
emotion.
without their mouth didn't smile, but their eyes did, or like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like those
Like,
things.
He just like,
Like
what
that,
was
yeah.
that, Mom? I don't think that's what that was. But anyway, the thing with like the author being a part of the story, I think
Yeah.
is such a big deal because, or obviously big fans of like Sarah J. Maas and like Court of Thorns and Roses, and there's been like talks of adaptations of that all the time, and it's like been,
It's not happening anymore. Actually.
I know it's not happening, and there's like all these creative decisions, and I'm actually okay with it not happening, because
if you're not going to do it right,
if you're not going to do it right, don't do it. And
Yeah.
so for something that's like as big and as popular as this, and I know Perks of a Wallflower has like a huge following, and people love that book, like it has to be done right.
Yeah.
And if it's not done right, you're just going to ruin it for so many people, and so many people aren't going to read the book if they enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
And so like I feel like there's such a big thing about like doing the story justice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it amazes me how many authors like sign off on like just
Go for
do
it,
whatever,
yeah.
Yeah,
like,
give me $10
it's your
million.
baby.
And
Yeah.
I know.
how
Yeah. Like, you spent time on this. Like, your
Yeah.
heart and soul is this story. Like, how are you going to
Yeah.
just be like, do whatever you want with it?
Right. Like another one that I know we're going to get to it a little bit later that I thought was really faithful, and granted I've only read the first book, was the Dune series. Because we've talked about this before, I tried to read the book first, could not follow it, didn't understand it, watched the movie, which was Dune Part 1. All of a sudden it just clicked and made sense, went back and read the book, and it's like passage for passage like what happens in the movie, and it made it really easy to follow and like get into the story. And I just think that was really important, because if it was completely different, or if they messed it up, I'd have been like, well, that sucks, and I wouldn't have read the book,
right.
or I wouldn't have been able to finish the book anyway. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's my rant.
Yeah. So for you, would you, like, with your Perks of Being a Wallflower, like, you would recommend somebody like you said, read, then watch the movie, but you would tell somebody like, yes, watch the movie. Like, that is a great, like,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Or like people who aren't readers, like, you would be like, this is a great
Yeah,
representation.
it's a good story on its own, even just the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Now I want to watch it and read it. I'll read it and then watch it.
There you go.
We should have a movie night.
Deal. Let's do
Deal.
it.
You're invited.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it in a long time. So.
There we go.
One really interesting like book to TV show adaptation, I think, is Game of Thrones, because actually the
I didn't know that
TV
was a
show.
book.
Oh yeah.
I
It's
haven't
actually
watched it, but
interesting.
I didn't know that was books.
Yeah, the book. So the author was, writing his books, and then he didn't finish the series.
Still not finished.
It's not finished, and he doesn't think he's going to finish it.
Who's the author? Is it
George R.R. Martin.
Okay.
And because the TV show got so popular and took off way faster than like the books, because obviously like writing a book takes a long time.
They're like 1,500 page books. Like,
They're big
huge
books. And so the TV show got ahead of the books.
Oh.
And so now the author doesn't think he's even going to finish the series, because
yeah.
the TV show is
Was he
done.
part of writing the TV series? Mm-mm. Okay, so someone else took the story
weird.
and created the end.
Which is interesting, because it kind of opposes our last viewpoint, because the show is fantastic.
Until
The ending.
it goes to the point where
Oh.
they're not using his source material
Yeah.
anymore.
Okay.
But they followed it really well up until that point, and then they're like, let's just make up some stuff.
And that didn't work out so great.
Boo. It's like notorious, like not just our opinion. It's like notoriously everybody hates it. Hates how it ends. Like, it's not good.
Yeah, just tonally is totally different, and
Yeah.
like the shift, and Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any other books that you have had like turn into movies that you said you've, like, we talked about maybe like
Dear
Percy
Evan
Jack-
Hansen
Oh yeah.
So
And that is a musical.
is. I did it all kind of in a mixed way. I listened to the soundtrack first.
Oh,
Didn't know the story, but like cried during the songs. And then read the book, and then watched the musical, and then watched the movie, I think is the order I
You
did
have
it.
had all of the experience.
Ooh.
no
have.
kidding.
And all of them were fantastic.
Really?
Yes.
Now
Yeah.
I want to. What's the like with the book? Like, is it? Is there music center in the book, or did they just
No.
turn it into a musical? Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Ben Platt was the main character in the Broadway production, and basically they said nobody can do it better when we make it into a movie. So they like CGI'd him to look younger, I think.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
He does look a little bit too old to be a high schooler in the movie, but when I saw the musical, he was not in it. It was a different cast, but
Yeah.
yeah, the book doesn't center around music or anything like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
It was very
That's an
good.
interesting decision to like then turn a book into let's make it musical.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you found the musical soundtrack
First.
before the reading the book.
Yes.
So it had already been converted into a musical at that point.
Correct. Yeah. I had never heard of it before that.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't even know how I came upon the music at that time, but yeah. It's good stuff.
It was just meant to be. You just
Because
had to find
one
it.
of our really good friends is, you went to the movie with Katie, right, Lauren? And she's a big fan of it. And you said she really liked the movie. You thought she thought it was really good. Yeah. And that's one too that I've never, I love musicals, and obviously like I'm a big fan of Wicked and all the other ones that I've seen, but like I don't know why I just haven't watched it yet.
So
But-
since you have done all of the different versions, what order would you say to do
Oh,
that in?
Don't listen to the music first because it doesn't really make sense. I mean, I think just stay true to the book and then movie. And if you have the opportunity to go to the musical somewhere, definitely do that. Because it was unlike any musical I've been to. Like just
Ooh.
the effects and how they laid it out was just so unique. I don't know.
Fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love
like that.
this is aside, but I love how theater productions do that. They like make things so unique and like use
Yeah.
the space in different ways. Sorry, theater nerd.
No, that's
But-
just fine.
Oops.
There's theater nerds here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Several theater nerds, in fact.
Two tech people over here. Whoop whoop.
Sound. Whoop.
Do you need a sound effect? Yeah, make a sound effect for sound people. I was hoping for the applause, but all right.
The random soundboard over there. We never know what we're going to
With
get.
four
Oh, yeah.
Were you?
It's a wild card.
Sorry, are you a Harry Potter fan? I know your husband is a huge Harry Potter
Oh my
fan.
goodness. I only read the first book in 4th grade when Mrs. Drake read it to us.
Okay.
I did not read any beyond that on my own, but I have watched all the movies and I do really enjoy them.
Okay.
But
They're a comfort movie for me in the fall. Like, just like,
Yes.
oh, get in the season. Like,
Evan watches them anytime he's sick. He'll start the series and then he has to finish it even after he's better.
that's awesome.
Same with Lord of the Rings. I think both of those are his.
You could go through some
sick and
major
comfort.
illnesses on that.
Oh my goodness.
Those two
yeah.
runs.
Yeah. He'll be sick for like half a day, but then he has to finish the rest of the series. So.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, I mean, I liked them, but I don't know. There's just something about fantasy that I just don't get into when I'm
The
reading.
not real,
Yeah, I
like,
don't
it's,
know.
yeah.
But-
I get it.
But I like
I get it,
I like
too.
the movies though. I liked the movies a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But
It could be having to do with like real world stories. You get that like movie picture in your head as you're reading, where like fantasy, you like really have to start from scratch sometimes because it's
Yeah.
like, what is going on? We're in this planet and there's like
These
purple
weird
people or whatever.
words
Like
and-
there's a sea of spores.
right, yeah.
Magic
I think the world building part of it is like I can't connect to that the
Yeah.
way that I can. It's like, oh, they just live in a
A
flat
high
down
school
the street.
boy. Yeah.
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 So, I
Like
don't
we know what a high school looks like, but
Right.
we don't
Yeah.
know what a green sea
A
of
high
spores
school in
looks like.
space looks like.
Yeah.
Now that is a book
Yeah.
I'd read.
Do you have anything else that you want to cover? Otherwise, we can ask you the big question.
I'll
yes.
maybe bring this up in the recommendations.
Perfect.
How
Yeah.
about- yes.
So our big question: what book would you recommend to absolutely anyone?
I have thought about this for a long time, like even before you guys asked me to be on here.
This is probably the most important decision of your life.
So
This is huge.
yes, I don't want to mess it up. No,
Yep.
I truly don't feel like there's one book that I could really suggest to everybody. Like I love Perks of Being a Wallflower, and I would suggest it to a lot of people, but I don't know that I would recommend it to everyone because like I don't know,
What is
my
it about-
parents would not enjoy it. They wouldn't
Yeah.
connect to it.
Yeah.
What
I
is it
don't
about
know.
Perks that just like is that book for you? Because there's always like one thing with every book that it just like grabs you.
I think that book and a lot of my favorite books, it was the time of my life that I was reading them was like high school was I feel like the music and the movies and the books that you consume in high school are the most influential and stick with you the longest. So I think had I read this book now, it maybe wouldn't have had the same impact on me that it did in high school. So I think because I was in high school and I related to the main character a lot, I think that's what stuck out to me.
And now it has
and
kind of that
really-
nostalgia piece
Yes,
to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's, I mean, like, I don't know that I would have called myself a wallflower in high school, but I definitely felt like I didn't relate to a lot of people in my grade or the grades around me. So I did feel kind of like on the outside of a lot of things. So I related in that aspect. I don't know.
Yeah, just you
Yeah.
had that connection, like
Yeah.
that emotional connection.
Do you have a kid's book that you would like everybody that's having a baby, you like to like buy them that
Ooh.
book
Good
or
question.
like you would recommend to them? I don't mean to
Oh,
put you on the
man.
spot.
Biscuit.
Definitely biscuit.
Woof, woof.
just white out all the woof woofs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the one, I think you guys may have talked about it before, the one where it's like the mom holding the baby and rocking. I love you forever. I love you forever. Yeah. I don't remember growing up with that book, but I've read it now and cry a lot of the times that I read it. I think that's just a sweet one. I don't. It's going to come to me
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Or you're
Put you on the spot.
You're gonna be
No,
driving away, and you're
Yeah.
gonna be like, "Dang it!"
That was the one.
Yeah.
The Cars
know.
movie, perhaps.
Only if Sam's there to read the
goodness.
whole
Right.
thing.
Yes. Oh, well, I will. I don't know that I would recommend this to every parent, but I found a collection of books that I read as a kid. I found them at a thrift store or used bookstore or something, brought them home and was reading them to the kids and was like, oh my gosh, I read these. And they're just the classic fairy tales, but the way that they're written, they're really small and they have just like these very distinct illustrations that was like, oh my gosh, we had these when I was growing up. I have no idea how they came back into my life. But,
Books are magical. That's
I mean,
how.
yeah, I would, I guess, yeah, recommend find something that you loved as a kid and then relive it with your kids. So I don't know.
That's good. Yep.
Advice.
There's
Yeah,
no
that's great
one
advice.
book that I would maybe say for everybody, but so yeah, I'm sorry I did not answer that question well.
No, that was perfect. that was perfect.
Yeah, you did though, because it's a hard question. Like it's an impossible question.
It really is.
Yeah, it's just
The Bible there. Everyone in the Bible. And I'm
You
giving
said
that a
that with
baby
such
showers too.
enthusiasm.
the encyclopedia.
Get to reading, kids.
Here's Merriam-Webster's. Read the dictionary, Bob.
Then going into recommendations.
Yes.
Yeah, we're almost there. Yeah.
We all like fawned over your recommendation
Yes.
when you showed it to us earlier, so we're very excited.
This is a coffee mug that I got on Etsy, and it allows you to customize 16 books of your choice, and then the shop owner illustrates it based on the spine of the book, and
So
she
cool.
runs
So
it.
cool.
She runs it by you beforehand just to make sure that is
Oh,
this the
that's
right
awesome.
version of the book that you want on the picture, because there's
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
different versions.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's so
And
cool.
she, throw that up there. I looked up the Etsy shop. Her name is Molly Hendrick Design, and her shop is currently on a break.
Okay.
So I don't know
Come back, Molly.
if she will come back.
Yeah,
Yes.
we can always put like have you send the link to
Yes,
Sam, and
yeah. Mm-hmm.
we'll like include it in like the YouTube description, and I think there's a place we can do it on Spotify maybe too. Just creating more work for you, Sam.
But maybe we should wait
Gotta.
till the store is back.
Well, I think.
I mean,
It
even if
said
you,
something about spring break, so it might
Oh,
be
it's
soon.
going to be temporary.
It might be
Okay.
soon.
and you could always like maybe like send her a message and be like, hey, like I heard
Yeah.
about
When you come
this
back,
is-
let me know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like some. Or
I love it. I
Maybe it
think
would
that's
lead
so
to like
cool.
other stores that are similar with like similar
Yeah.
products and stuff too.
Yeah.
But that mug is so cool.
It was like $30-some when I
Oh.
got it, which
To have
I
it
feel
so
like is really good for
personalized,
such
like-
a
Yeah,
for a
Fully
customized
custom
item.
mug, and it's a good sized mug.
And there's different colors
And you can
get
fit
it in,
4
different
fingers in that
sizes.
handle.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I love that in a mug.
It's a 4-fingered mug.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. I hate the 2, and you're like, what do I do with my 3 and 4 here?
I always hold
Maybe
it.
that's a single
I-
problem. I don't
I
know.
hold it with my 2
Like
and 3.
that one, I hate. I hate
Claw.
that. Hold it with the 2,
yeah.
like
I
like
hold-
this,
I
like.
hold it like that. That's how
But
I
like
hold
try
with
to
my-
hold it like this.
But why? Why don't I just hold it with my...
Just
It's
try
if it's
it.
too hot. If it's too hot. See, right? You need the
Gobs
4
for claw.
fingers.
This is a podcast about books.
I feel like Okay. Cups. I feel like cups.
Words have been very hard for you today.
Tell me how you feel about
I've been up till
cups.
1 a.m. in the past 2 nights, so that's way late for me.
Wow.
It is.
We were playing games.
Oh.
Anyways, mugs, I feel like are very adjacent to reading, so
I agree.
it counts.
I agree.
Do you guys have recommendations today?
I do.
Yes.
Me as well.
Should we share them?
Sorry, I was thinking about this mug.
We'll all share them at the same time. Okay, go for it.
I'll go.
All right. I am sharing the website and the group righttoreadnd.org, which we were going to share in our podcast, but we
We can talk about that.
didn't get quite around to.
so.
But promoting allowing books to be accessible to people in all ways. So there's current legislation here in our state of North Dakota that has passed the Senate and has a due pass recommendation from committee and will be going to House. It's currently in appropriations, which means they're figuring out how they would pay for it, which may be a big in its favor to not pass, which is what we would like to see. And this
Wonderful.
legislation is, okay, a little backstory for people not from here. In the state of North Dakota, there is currently a law in place that libraries are yearly accountable to make sure that books that are explicit or inappropriate are not accessible to children.
Which is so subjective.
Yes. And this book or this law becomes even more subjective because they don't even define what they say they think is inappropriate. So part of this law says that if a patron of a library feels a book is not appropriate, they can contact the county attorney general's office and prosecute librarians for that.
Goodness.
And teachers.
And there's not any definition of what makes that book inappropriate.
There has been a North Dakota
explicit
judge that has been quoted as saying, like, I'll know it when I see it. I don't love that definition. I don't love that definition.
I'll know a jerk face when I see
and
it.
you know, like I am all for. There's many things that we read that we talk about that children should not read or be exposed to.
Yeah.
But trusting the professionals to make sure
because that is their job.
not accessible to children, and it would affect things like Libby and Audible and things that are accessible through libraries, because that is not within the control of the library of who checks out what book when you're checking it out on Libby. So all those things would probably go away in accessibility wise for doing it.
Yeah.
So you can read lots about it. They have a really interesting 7 reasons to oppose SB 2307, and also
They've got an Instagram page as well.
Yep.
nd.right.
read.
I think it's right to read. Or there might be dots
right to
in
read
there.
nd.org.
There it is. Yep.
So we did go to a readout
We protested.
on March 1st and read in front of the library for a half an hour, as people did at libraries all across the state, as just a statement of letting people read and allowing professionals to use their professional judgment to take care of what needs to be appropriately handled.
Yeah.
That's my
Well done.
well. Thank you.
Mine are going to be super short and quick. I am going to read all 3 of them because I thought of them as we were talking here. The first one, I might have mentioned it last year, but baseball season is here and I'm very happy about it. And one of my favorite podcasts, if you're a baseball fan, is The Compound. It's hosted by Ian Happ, who's a current Chicago Cubs player. He's probably my favorite player in baseball right now. He just has a super good perspective on things that are happening in baseball. Also super dry humor, which is very funny. And he has another co-host who was a minor leaguer in the Cubs organization. And they just have a very funny rapport. They're very good friends. And so if you like baseball, listen to The Compound. And then one is a musical artist called Enrose, Enrose. And they're like a weird mix of rock but also saxophone, and it is killer and it's awesome. Hannah, your husband introduced me to them last week during work because it was just popped up on his shuffle playlist, and I'm like, what is this? Because I've made the comment to both him and Sam before that we need more saxophone in music. I think it's a
Is
criminally
that like
underrated
cowbell?
instrument.
Need more saxophone.
No, we need less cowbell, more saxophone. We need to swing the pendulum back to saxophone, and it's
Having my SNL moment there.
incredible. So just check it out. Even if you don't think you like it, you probably will because it's awesome. And then last episode, you mentioned some story, or one of you mentioned a book. I don't remember who it was. It was a while ago. About that's a mystery, and you weren't really. Oh, it was you. You weren't really sure who did it at the end.
Yes.
Then you were like questioning yourself the whole time, and that just reminded me of the show Broadchurch on Netflix.
Oh.
Gosh, I forgot about that show.
It's set in like
I also recommend this.
a little British town, and it's David Tennant is like this grizzled detective, and he's like going through like a really tough time, and then there's a murder. Maybe.
Oh.
There's a death in the town,
Yes.
and they're not sure if it was foul play or if it was something else. And then
There's a lot of secrets in that
lot
town.
of
Lot
secrets
of
in this
things.
town, and every episode it's like it was that guy, and then like 5 minutes into the next
was
episode
not
you're like it was her, and it's just like you
It was
don't
everyone.
know until the end, and it's so good. Broadchurch on Netflix.
Fantastic show. There's 2 seasons actually.
Okay.
There's also
3
an
seasons.
American
There's 3.
version. There's an American version that has a different name, not as good.
Oh, good.
Yeah, what's the British one?
The British one was much better. I
Yeah.
can't remember the name of the American one. I'll
Church Broad.
Narrow church.
Nice. That was funny.
Hannah's sense of humor fits in very well on this podcast.
Sam knows my puns well.
We enjoyed
He
that.
loves them.
Caitlin, go.
That was a great recommendation.
Thank you. I
Nice.
know.
Mine's super quick too. Yeah, whatever.
You're welcome.
It's super quick. It's another musical artist or duo. I believe it is a duo. Sam's nodding. Yes. Young Gun Silver Fox. It's kind of funky, kind of
West Coast pop.
West Coast pop is the very specific genre.
Okay.
Kind of veering into yacht rocky territory a lot too.
And it's just like real chill vibes, kind of nice to have in the car, just like
In the background.
yeah, just like if you
If you're watching the
listening.
YouTube, you're getting a good visual
I'm,
right now.
I'm vibing here.
We look like ducks.
I'm the only one not vibing.
That's because
You're a coot.
you haven't
You're a
listened to him
coot.
yet.
But give it
You're
a
doing the
try.
coot dance.
It'll give you some
Yeah,
good
you haven't
vibes.
listened to him yet. So you
I
might-
haven't. No, I hadn't heard about him till before the podcast.
Yeah.
Like minutes before.
And now
Yeah.
you have.
Now you have. Now give it a try.
Yeah. By the way, the American version of Broadchurch is Grace Point.
Okay.
Not sure why they had to have a different name. I don't know.
Haven't heard
Boo.
of that
No,
one.
I'm just
But I did try
Copyright.
a couple episodes of it. No.
okay.
Stick with the British one.
It's really good. So one of our goals for 2025 was to increase our social media engagement, but that hasn't really happened yet. We're still working on it.
It's the year's not
I'm
over.
going to keep sharing all over.
Perfect. Thank you.
Whatever minimal posts we do make, we
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Yep. So on Instagram, we're paperback_perspectives, X paperback_pod, TikTok paperback.pod, YouTube paperback perspectives, and if you want to email us to get in contact with us, it is paperbackperspectives@gmail.com. They're literally all different. I think that's hilarious that we did that.
So professional.
Yeah,
here.
really well done.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Any final comments from anybody?
I don't think so.
This was fun.
It was
Thank
a great
you so
time.
much, Hannah. You were
thank
awesome.
Appreciate having you here very
And you have a
much.
great
Yeah.
podcast voice too. It's very
You do.
relaxing.
Do.
Thank you.
Yes.
I should have talked like this the whole time.
The whole time.
We'll have to do like a
Woof,
nighttime,
woof.
like mellow. Biscuit, a dramatic reading.
Dramatic.
Woof, woof. No, biscuit.
That's so good.
That's great.
And then you can move on to reading Hot and Hammered out loud.
It's like a grab bag. You're never gonna know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get biscuit or hot and hammered.
Don't let your children listen, please.
Maybe.
It might be all good. It might be Sam reading the long version of Cars.
I would pay to listen to that. Get us out of here, Mom. We're looping.
All right. As always, thank you to the important people, our producer, engineer, everything person, Sam, to Lauren, our fact checker, and keeping us on track over there, to the people who listen and share on social media and keep our information going out there. We appreciate you. And especially to Hannah for joining us on
Woohoo!
our episode.
Thank you.
Super fun.
So, until next time, this is Paperback Perspectives.
Till the next chapter.
Till the next chapter. Hannah, you say it.
What?
Until the next chapter.
Until the next chapter.
Good job.
Excellent. I didn't know. Hannah, you're such